Hello and welcome. My name's Dan. I'm from Word of the Horde. Joining me is Chris. We'll be discussing The Falcon and The Winter Soldier in this extract from our podcast. At this point, we'd only really seen episode 1 to 4, and so we discuss our theories and where we think it's going to go. Anyway, enjoy it. Thanks for listening.
We're edgy! We're fucking edgy!
Right.
What are we talking about next? Do you say Winter Soldier and the Falcon?
We are about to talk about
Oh yeah.
the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. There's too many the.
What time are we on now? Yeah, I know. It should just be Falcon and WS.
Just be Falcon.
What time are we on?
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, this is downtime, so this needs to all be cut. This is just
It's
cut these
just
bits
break
out.
time in between.
Yeah, this is just like the thing is, this is where I can swear and say like, where we're just going to cut it out. Okay, so
Yeah.
I
This
did
is what we
think
should
when
do.
I come to ours, I was like, that's funny. We can't keep that in there. So yeah.
It won't be
Oh,
that bad. It's not.
Yeah, who cares? I don't give a shit. No one's listening.
I probably won't edit that out if I get to it. I might do it.
Yeah,
I can do if you really want me to. Like, I don't think
I
it'll
don't
be
give
an
a
issue.
shit.
No
I
one
don't give
gives
a shit.
fuck, mate. No one's gonna care.
We're dangerous. What can I say? We're dangerous.
Edgy, mate. We're edge lords.
We're fucking edgy. That should be our start. It should be like, welcome. You do your like, welcome to the famous podcast. This thing, and it just goes, we're edgy, and then we start talking. It's just that bit in between.
Just you. That's why I didn't say anything there. I'll just grab that again. Thing is, there was something you told me you did last time that I was meant to grab as well, and I was going to use at the beginning.
When you go into it, just put a file of just random shit, and I reckon we'll make quite a fun little like stupid reel. Right, are you ready for the Falcon and Soldier conversation?
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That's what it's called.
Falcon and Winter Soldiers. All the ones on YouTube are just Falcon and Winter Soldier. Everyone's giving up the others. Everyone's like, fuck the others. So
it is. It's
Falcon,
the Falcon
and the Winter Soldier.
and the Winter Soldier.
Oh, I know it is. I say it properly because I was raised by it. The Falcon. He's earned that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on. No, I'm just thinking it's getting.
Yep.
You started last time. Fuck you. I'm starting. Yeah.
You do it. You do it.
It's. I'm liking it. I'm liking the way it's going. I'm really loving Zemo and some of this stuff. I don't want to bag on some of the woke stuff, but there is a little bit of that wokish sort of thing creeping in. It's one of those things you just kind of ignore. I think a little bit like shit special effects maybe in old stuff that we used to watch. But I do like. I like the way it's going with the in fact, it's what I thought was going to happen. I thought he would find, Cap would find fucking serum, super soldier serum and take it. So I really like that that's happened now. But obviously, the story has to fucking move it because there's only like 6 episodes. But
there's only 2 episodes left, isn't there? Yeah.
I like his fall has been quite good. I think it looks quite good. You can tell he's sort of losing his plot and that. But yeah, I like it. It wasn't as funny this episode particularly, but yeah, it's good. I still like Zemo.
Yeah, I think Zemo is definitely. I mean, like that guy's earning that part, like a lot like Loki did with his part. He's really.
He'll have his own series.
I would watch it, or him in Thunderbolts. You know what I mean? Like I assume that's what they set him up for. When you say about the woke stuff, I find it quite interesting because I actually really like that stuff in it. The reason being is like through the history of the comic books of Captain America, they've always explored like with the Black Captain America, with like him going against what is kind of expected and stuff like that. I like the fact that like Captain America has always been a comic where they've tried to deal with the harder issues of kind of socialism and whatever it is. So I quite like that. I also like the fact that in the show you're following Falcon as the centrist, whereas the new Captain America is extreme right and is like all government, and the other one, like the other side of it, the flag smashers are the woke, but they're the bad guys in it. For that we're like seen to like you can understand them and you're emotionally connected to them. That he's still like, I agree with what you're saying, but your actions are wrong, which is kind of like an echo of what's going on in society at the moment. A lot of this kind of woke ideals is like, I agree with what you're saying, but your approach to it is what's wrong. And I quite like the fact that it echoes that.
These flag smashers are almost like Antifa or something, or BLM even. Maybe not BLM, but definitely Antifa.
Well, they're militarized. They're a militarized idea, aren't they?
Yeah,
gone
definitely.
past the point of going, we need to agree on better terms, and they've said, right, we're gonna forcibly act in
Yeah,
this way. And I
yeah,
like the fact this episode explored the like Zemo's idea, like because Zemo's the bad guy, but he's the only one that is completely like convicted to his ideas.
yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
he's
He's not
he's
umming and
he's not
ahhing like
just
everyone
making a
else.
contribution. He's not like when he you see the point, like most villains in a film, when they come across a super serum,
Mm,
they're going to be like, I could take this and I become more. But like the fact that earlier he argues that anyone that even wants it is already a supremacist because they want to
mm,
be more than what they are. And I'm like, I like that. That's really intelligent. And the fact that when he gets it, like he did in the Winter Soldier, he wants to destroy it. He's not there to take over. He's there to. It's kind of like the idea of like the hero, where it's like he doesn't want to live in the world that he's gonna create. You know what I mean?
yeah, I love
It's
that.
like he
Yeah,
understands that he's not going to be the good guy at the end of this, but he's
aye.
doing it for the good. He genuinely believes, and he sort of is doing it for the greater good. Whereas you see Captain America, the new Captain America, evil Cap,
Mm,
as like the guy that's like he's saying he's doing everything for the greater good, but actually all his actions suggest otherwise. And the fact that like they were exploring in this serum that it's like in the first Avenger when they say know only accentuate who they are to Rogers, Steve Rogers.
mm,
That's
yeah,
he's if you're good, it makes you great, and if you're bad, it'll make you worse, that sort of thing. And that's what he's doing to this Cap. He's like
mm,
his always like need to be accept Cap and everything like that is already offensive. And now he's taking this thing, and it's like you see what was going to happen. But the way they did it, and like the execution in that last episode where he smashes that guy's shield, I
brutal.
did not see coming. That was a surprise for Disney. No, Alex this
Fuck
thing.
yeah.
Um,
And that
yeah, I was just
image,
like, yeah, you really
just that
sold it.
final
Like,
shot of him standing there with the shield with the blood kind of on the bottom of it,
yeah,
just
yeah, totally.
that was really
Well, and
striking, I
also the
thought.
fact that it mirrored Cap's fight with Iron Man in Civil War. You know
Yeah,
what I
and
mean?
he
It mirrored
didn't
that,
hit
like
him.
he crushed his chest with that thing, but he didn't kill him with it. But also,
Yeah.
directly after that scene, he says, "My dad made that shield. That doesn't belong to you." And he drops his shield because he
Mm,
wasn't worthy of his shield at that point.
mm,
Because he knew at that point that he wanted to kill Iron Man. He wanted to smash his head in, but he didn't. But he knew, or even thinking it would made him like he wasn't worthy of that shield. And in this situation, he picks up his shield like, "This is my shield," and it's like, well, you've just become unworthy of it. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like you've just like, and also like say it did emanate a lot of the ideas, like the fact that he's sort of like the authority and he's caught on camera killing somebody, and there's a lot of like interesting things at play. It's quite there's for that it's a TV series, and it's like a Marvel TV series, and it's comic books and cartoons and such. It was quite an adult theme, and I do feel like this episode especially really played well. It ran well. It was nice and smooth, and it played like, and there was lots of like adult kind of thoughts in it.
Well,
Um,
yeah. Go on,
it's
sorry.
good. The only other thing I was going to say is the whole series is a bit by the numbers. Like
Yeah.
unlike WandaVision, where every day I'm thinking like, but what about this thing? Like WandaVision
Mm,
4, we had complaints about its slowness. It had a lot of stuff in it where I was like, but what about this thing or what about that thing? This doesn't as much. But I do think it's because it's very tight. It's a very tightly shot series.
yeah, yeah.
It's like there
I know
isn't
what you
much
mean.
play for like, let's add this little cool thing in the background or whatever. But
Yeah.
there's loads of stuff. I mean, we don't know who the power broker is. We don't know if that the blonde chick from the agent, the one that was on the run, whether she's a good guy or not. She seems to have a lot
Mm,
of authority. And then like, is Falcon and Bucky going to come face to face with Cap? Is Cap going to live? Are they going to
mm,
live? There's some interesting bits and how this sets up the next stage. But I'm really enjoying it, and it does feel like the Winter Soldier in the film, in the sense that it's like an espionage kind of. It
yeah.
feels like a continuation, very much of that, rather than like WandaVision felt like a more of a
Mm,
kind of fantasy and magic-y stuff. This feels a lot more grounded, which I quite like, even though they're flying around and metal arm stuff.
mm. No, yeah, 100%. Yeah. I think it's just nice to sort of exist in that Marvel universe just very calmly without crazy energy barriers and people
Hmm.
flying around. It's nice to just, I mean, I know he's flying around, but it's like,
Yeah, yeah, it's
it's
not
just
quite
nice.
as extreme.
Yeah. Ground level sort of stuff. Nothing
Mm.
too kind of. And so it's nice to
Friendly
breathe.
neighborhood type stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's a nice sort of slower breather to have in the Marvel universe for a bit now, and to sort of, because we know Bucky and all that, it's just nice to really experience it and see a bit more of Zemo and that. I think what you're saying though about you were right there. I think with the woke stuff, and like you're saying, what the comic has done with Cap and that over the years. I guess my thing was, I just thought it is a bit of it's a strange thing, like even throwing the word supremacist around. It's quite an odd choice, and sort of, it's like a dangerous sort of time to be throwing words like that around with such everything that's going on. It's quite hot in America, especially with the, all the Chauvin trial and all that sort of stuff. But like you said, Cap has always sort of been about that kind of thing, and this is obviously Cap, very much Cap related, isn't it? Like, obviously,
Oh
so
yeah,
I
it's
think
a
you're right there.
adjacent series, isn't it? Yeah,
I think it's just something that they decided to write in, and it's not hammering us over the head particularly. It's not like something really woke agenda like fucking Star Trek or Discovery or something.
Yeah.
But
and also it's not as much out of place. Like if Captain America was happening in the world now, that would be the that would be the thing. Is Captain America a bad guy or a good guy? Is he against these things? And there'd be people rising up, and
in fact, bang
it
on.
would be very much.
You're right.
I also
He'd
think
be
it's
called
like,
a white supremacist probably at this point, wouldn't he?
yeah, exactly.
In
And
the
they
world
mention
right
that,
now.
it's like the fact that all these people are always white guys. But also it's like Captain America, I mean, obviously in the comic books, historically, he's dealt with Hitler. So to shy away from this idea that, there is this, like, it's more than just one idea. You can't just take what's said and, run with it because other people can have opposing views. It's kind of like the perfect film to do that in. And I think, like, when you compare it to something like Discovery is meant to be in this, like, utopian, like, future that where, like, the Federation doesn't have these ideas. So why are they then, like, throwing these ideas in your face? Surely it'd be completely accepted. Whereas in this, it's like we are a broken society, and so there is extreme ideas on the left and the right, and there's people trying to walk the center, and there's people that like will say they're the good guy that aren't the good guy. It's like,
well, let's
it feels
face
a
it.
bit more like realistic being in this setting.
Yeah,
Me,
definitely. And let's face it, if of all the kind of Marvel stuff that potentially would deal with something woke along these issues, it would be this show.
Yeah.
It's like this. I can't think of anything else which would take time to talk about a black guy and getting harassed by police in the street, kind of. Just.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's the thing. It's like if in WandaVision she was like, "Oh, this is my son," blah blah blah. He's pansexual. Then you'd be like, "Well, that just took me out of it. Like, that's irrelevant. Such a weird way of doing it." Whereas all this, it's like the conversation is relevant to the action that's going on in the world. It doesn't feel like it was written to be woke. It felt like it was written to be like suggestive and let people kind of discuss it. Like, I think this will be. I don't know. I think the way they're setting up this world, like with it, like, going forward, even after this series, if Captain America or the first new superhero after, like Thanos destroyed the world and brought everyone back, the first new introduction of one isn't a good guy and is like a government-led, not a good guy, and it's like I don't know. It's like I like the way they suggest in this world that it's like obviously during the snap people just went and worked places and did whatever because everyone helped it, and now it's like people are refugees of a country that asked them to come and help and now won't support them. It's like it's such a
it's actually really smart,
fascinating concept.
It's
really fascinating.
Yeah, because it's like well, when they said that the whole world banded together because there was only half the people left, and like that sort of geopolitical sort of thought is actually quite interesting to be like, yeah, people were like desperate for come to our country, fucking come in. Like, it deals with immigration and things like that. It's actually a really interesting idea that I thought, yeah, definitely.
And even like people in charge. So like you don't know if the president disappeared. So whoever was in charge for 5 years. There might have been another election or whatever. But then people who are in power or own a business or whatever, or own a house, come back and they take over what's back there. It's like it's fascinating. And it also makes me think like the next. Say like, I mean, obviously you've got Far From Home, you've got this, you've got WandaVision, all set in slightly different times. This is just a bit after WandaVision, I think, but before Far From Home. So it's like the world that Far From Home's set in has had this happen, and so it's like and like the reference to witches and stuff in Far From Home. Like in Far From Home, he's like, as a scientist, I think it's witches. I mean, like, it's like, is that relevant to WandaVision, or is that just something they put in there as fun? Is there stuff in that, like, and the next stage of it, what's going to happen, like in whatever it is, next Spider-Man, and like the Doctor
Yeah.
Strange or whatever. It's like, what is that world they're going to live in? Because we haven't really seen it. This is like a little kind
Well,
of
wait a minute.
peek at what the world is, but we don't really know what it's going to end up being.
Well, how far into it is is Far From Home? How far after the snap?
6 months.
6 months after,
6
right?
months.
Okay.
No, 6 months is what's the last one? Was it Far From Home, the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was 6 months. 6 months after the snap.
So after the return, after everyone came back.
After the return, sorry, after the return, yeah. And
That's what I meant,
WandaVision's
yeah.
2 weeks.
That's what I meant anyway. Yeah. 2
Yeah,
weeks.
and that's what I
Okay.
meant.
And then this is like about a little bit after WandaVision again. Okay.
Yeah, I think this is like a month after WandaVision.
All right, so
After the snap. So
that's
it's
plenty
about
of time
2
for
weeks.
some. Yeah, so that's all right. So that's plenty of time for someone to be like, to not have to mention in Spider-Man, like, fucking hell, did you see Cap smash someone's head in on like that new Cap smash?
6 months ago. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's fine. Because you think like, yeah. But do you think they're gonna end it with Bucky or Cap or Falcon getting the shield, or do you reckon they'll actually just leave him as a sort of a big villain for the future, an evil Cap who
Honestly,
has the shield permanently for a while, and that's main part of Falcon and Winter Soldier continuing into the movies to get it back?
now, honestly, I think in the next episode they're taking that shield
Yeah,
straight up.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
Like they've been wanting to take it since the first episode. We've all wanted them to take it. I think, I honestly think, like the next episode will probably be their battle against Cap,
yeah.
and then the last episode we'll probably see like a reveal of Cap in because this Cap in the comic books becomes the Patriot or something like that, or like the
Yeah.
American Patriot or something. Like he
Yeah.
basically has a black
Is it US agent?
US agent, yeah. So he basically has like a darker Captain America costume,
Yeah, I know.
a different shield. I think he has like
Yeah.
a different sort of shield. Anyway, but yeah, I assume they're going to take it off. But I also think he'll be the baddie in the fifth episode. In the sixth episode, you would assume they're going to have a reveal of the Power Broker in some sort of fight. But is it going to be that we don't know who the Power Broker is at all, and it's going to finish with this cliffhanger of the Power Broker, and it's going to be some sort of setup somewhere else? There's massive rumors about a huge reveal in episode 5. Like someone from, I mean, people are talking about Wolverine and everyone, like same as it could be anybody.
Fuck off.
But there's apparently
This
like
is just WandaVision all over again.
WandaVision all over again, I know. But there was like when they were filming it, there was somebody filming on the day when they're doing a film in a courthouse, and they said there's a character in there that's going to blow your mind. You're not going to know. So it could be someone like Daredevil or something like that. It could be a court scene, or it could be an Avenger. You know what I mean? It could be because like the director said, it's a sort of like this person's so cool, this character's so cool. I'd love to see him with one of the big Avengers like Thor or something like that. Like it'd be really interesting because they're so calm and stuff. And so some people are saying like Elena Belova, the blonde chick from Thing, because her character's like they think she's going to be the next like Black Widow or whatever, big character. And they think like she's a continuing character in the future. Other people said Wolverine. It could be. A few people have said the woman who's going to become She-Hulk, or possibly even the character She-Hulk, but I don't know how they're going to do that. So it'll probably be the Vision. So just two visions. It'll be Grey Vision. Just like, okay, yeah, of course, yeah. But yeah, this guy, like the people have said, you're going to lose your mind, but who knows?
You know what? Yeah, well, I don't know. I think just because I think if they'd have brought it in a little bit early, but it might be a reveal that they could do later. Is just I think that hand thing that we were talking about last week, the fact the symbol of the hand with the globe in the hand, kind of, which is the Flag Schmaster symbol. It is still just the hand, isn't it? It's the ninja hand.
See, I think well, I would love that, and that would be interesting with the Power Broker or something like the hand or something.
And then Daredevil's involved in some
and
way.
Daredevil's in the courtroom or something. That'd be interesting because that would set up a lot of thing. I mean, it could do that. They're saying that the hand is based on like the Hamza, like the Indian hand symbol, which means like all people and unity and stuff like that. It was based around and the hand in the globe is obviously that they were there during the snap times, so it's one planet. That was like the idea of it. But yeah, I mean, they could do something like that. It does feel like they haven't done much of a build up for who the Power Broker is, other than that he's gonna, they've done a few bits where he's like he's gonna kill you, so he's obviously like a big bad that these supervillains, and like they were like, we can't fight two wars at once. It's like, I'll deal with him or them or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do like some sort of big reveal of that, or that's going to be like a big kind of. You're going to have to find out what happens in whatever film. You know,
Yeah,
Bucky
and
will return in,
that's what I mean. I'm
whatever.
wondering, yeah,
Armor Wars. I think that might tie into this
yeah,
because that'll
are
be the
we?
next series that separates them.
Yeah, it's like, are we going to get a resolution in this series to this like running
Mm.
story arc of what's
Yeah,
happening?
and that's what I feel like we're going to get the resolution to the initial Cap story, but
Yeah,
not necessarily the resolution to what's going on in the world and the power broker. And like I honestly think this will be some sort of instruction to mutants. To be honest, I think that
really.
might be the story. Well, that's what I would do. You know what I mean? Like they've got people that are like becoming superpowers due to a drug. Why not release it somehow? Like if they want, because like she was saying, we run out of it, and now he's used the last serum thing. So if
Mm,
anyone has one more thing, like a vat of it that gets into the water source, or you know what I mean, like they could do something. Apparently, initially the story for the Falcon Winter Soldier, as I said last week, was that there
a
was some sort of
virus. Yeah,
worldwide pandemic or something. So
yeah,
I that I mean, it would work. That's how they could introduce mutants or some sort of setup to something else. But I suppose super soldiers and mutants have always been separated in the comics. So, but I do think this could be a setup to General Ross and the um, like the evil supervillain team, the
do you reckon the power broker might be Blonsky?
Blonsky. Which one's
You know,
Blonsky?
fucking Abomination.
Possibly.
Like
I think it could
Tim
be
Roth.
General Ross. I think it could be Ross because Ross
Ross.
has the Thunderbolts, like because they were named after him.
Okay,
Um,
yeah.
General Ross also becomes Red Hulk by trying to use a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
super serum. They're making the She-Hulk series,
He's
so
not that big of
like
a thing for people to go, "Oh my god, it's General Ross." It's like he's been in and out of it for fucking ages. Like, it's like
he was in Civil War, and he apparently because obviously this was supposed to come after um, Scarlett Johansson after Black Widow.
yeah,
After Scarlett Johansson's movie Black Widow, is what I was going to say.
Scarlet Witch.
He's in that. He's definitely in that. So like it could be General Ross. I think it'll be some like there'd be enough nerds who'd be like, oh, it's General Ross. And also, every time they say there's a massive thing, it's like,
It's
it
I
sort
think
of is.
I think it's a hype
It's like
train
I
thing.
don't know how much it is. Yeah, exactly.
I think we
But they're
haven't heard that
releasing stuff
much.
fast.
Yeah, but I think we haven't heard that much about Falcon Winter Soldier, and plus, it's not done as well apparently from what I've heard as One Division, and
Hmm.
a lot of people. Amazingly, I heard a story that tons and tons of people turned off like right at that moment of that like cop car, woke moment that we had in that other episode. Apparently,
Right.
like you
Yeah,
could actually, someone went on and checked, like kind of, you could see on Disney Plus like the sort of
Mm-hmm.
average time that people stopped watching the episode, and it was right
Mm-hmm.
at that moment. Like apparently, anyway, totally forgot what the fuck I was saying that for. But what the fuck did you say before that?
Fuck, I can't remember.
Doesn't matter. Okay, yeah, yeah. Maybe that's the reason though that like it was supposed to be. Maybe that's because the story's a bit, like you said, a bit run of the mill because they probably make maybe. I just, like I said, I just don't see. I think maybe because it hasn't done as well, they might be thinking took the foot off the gas a bit because we're kind of hyping it up, kind of what was going to happen at the end. The last few, I don't know, just a theory.
Mm. Possibly. Yeah, I like to say. I mean, the theories, like small fight where the Wakandans turn up in this episode is awesome.
That was
Like,
brilliant.
and just smash Captain America. And I love the fact that, like, he's like, and they're not even super soldiers. It's like that's what broke him. That fight
It's
there
like-
broke him because he realized that not only did he get beat up by a girl, he got beat up by
Do you
one of the
realize
toughest
they're
girls on the planet.
badasses, mate?
He
Like,
got beat up.
complete
Yeah.
badasses.
And they did it without killing him.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like they could have like done it a lot easier and killed him. But yeah, they just smashed him. And I just like,
They are awesome.
yeah,
Then
exactly. But you know what I mean? That could be exploring different things. And like I like the fact that in that you've got to think like, they're there to do the ultimate right thing, like the kind of neutral right, because they're like they have no emotional investment, or they kind of show it that way. They're there to take Zemo in because he, murdered their king and committed genocide in
they're
Sokovia.
just there to straight up kill him, aren't they?
Well, yeah. Oh, are they? I thought they were just taking him. I didn't realize they were
No, they're
killing him. I
straight
thought
up
they were
there to
taking him.
kill him. Like,
All right. Well, there you go then. But they're still like the okay, maybe not ultimate evil, ultimate good, but they're that sort of thing. Whereas like Cap is kind of this chaotic thing, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier are both like they're trying to do the right thing, but they just want everyone to get along. I do think I like the balance in the show. I find it interesting. But I do think it's very relevant. I think it's probably the most relevant show. But what people are saying about being this or that, I think Marvel are going to make films. There's nothing as good as this on telly. But I
yeah,
do think 90% of people, and I suppose like anybody, if you're creating content, you want content that people are going to watch. But I think a lot of it is people just be like, this will get more of a view than saying, oh, it's the best show ever. Because if you
yeah,
say
I
it's the best show
agree,
ever, they're going to be like, you're a
100%.
shill for the Disney and blah, blah. Whereas if you say like, oh, wokeness just kill, like if you say fucking Gina
Clickbait.
Carano fires back at Disney, doesn't matter what you've got in your whole episode, someone's going to be looking for that bit where,
Yeah,
oh, Gina Carano said this thing now, you know what I mean? Because it's the
complete.
relevant thing at the time.
This is it.
And unfortunately, people take the piss.
That's where this all comes from. I think a lot of it. It's just people seeing, well, people who watch a lot of Timcast, shit like that. Who are fucking kind of they see wokeness everywhere, or they see it happening, and sure, it is happening. But yeah, and then they see a bit of it in this, a little hint of it, and then they go online and start making, like you say, they go, oh, I'm going to make a YouTube video about that, and they fucking bang it up with the title "Wokeness Kills Bloody Whatever," and because, like you said, that's going to get a click. It's not going to get a click when it's all right. There's a little bit of, it's like a little bit of wokeness
I'll
in
go
it.
so far as to say that title is probably already up on their thing, and they're just waiting to put the video on there for when the episode starts.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
this is going out because most of them, like, I will come home from work, so I get home at 5 o'clock. It doesn't come out in the UK till 8 in the morning, but there'll be UK based people that have got a video out 6 hours ago. So I'm like, literally, you watched it and went, I need to go online and record this immediately. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck off, man. You had that planned. You went out there with an agenda to try and get a thing. I get it. Do what you want. But I just not.
Well, here's the other thing. It's like no one was talking wokeness about this show until that scene with the cop car where the police come up. And then all of a sudden, the next couple episodes, there hasn't even been that much. I mean, I don't even really know what they're talking about fully yet. I noticed a bit of it, and like you said, the supremacist talk and some of the flag smasher stuff looking like Antifa, whatever. I don't really know or what they're getting at. I think they're just now looking for it because of the fucking one scene that's triggered them all into thinking it's fucking woke. Marvel's going woke.
But the thing is, even in that scene, it's like I appreciate stuff with like the Antifa, but you've got like the way I look at it is like they're not made out to be the good guys. They're not made out to be like like starts off they're almost convincing, but the whole argument throughout it is like, yeah, but I don't like their actions.
Yeah.
I think the thing with the car thing is like I felt like it was a very obvious thing to do. But it was underplayed. Like I don't think it was that. Like he was done, and like Sam in that was kind of like, don't worry about it. Like he wasn't the one going, do you know who I am? It was Bucky who was like, do you know who he is? You know what I mean? Like it was quite. I thought it was quite interesting because just the way it was delivered, I actually quite liked because I'm like, well, if they're going to do that, which they obviously want to, they could have gone Sam going, do you know who I am, and kick it off and blah blah blah, and then like, well, why'd you kick off? And he's like, oh, now you're making me the victim. But he didn't do that. He was like, no, I understand. Like, we're just having a conversation. There's no issues here. And it was Bucky was like outraged by it, which is kind of what you want. You know what I mean? It's like that's the right. That was like a like what should have happened, and then obviously he got arrested and it flipped it all on his head. It was it was quite clever. I thought the way it was delivered.
I know what you mean about the reactions and stuff. Yeah, definitely the characters sort of the way the characters played it. I think it's just the sort of the weirdness of it, of kind of the normalization of kind of even just the way he reacted as if it's just a normal thing. This for black people to get like. Harassed by police cars, or police in the middle of the street, and the way he was, I don't know. I get what you mean, though. Yeah, it could have been a bit more heavy-handed. Like they could have been like, "Freeze, you motherfucker!" And then he's like, "I'm the Falcon, bitch." It could have been like,
"Do you know who I am? I'm Captain America's best friend."
Yeah, it's like, I'll get you on the floor and fucking kneel on your neck for 12 minutes. Yeah, it's just like could have really gone overboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
exactly. That's what I mean. It's like they obviously put something in there to represent something, which all TV shows do. You know what I mean? Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. But I don't think like I say, I feel like this series it hasn't gone into any extremes. It hasn't been
Hmm.
extremely like amazing. There's not been any
No.
bits where I'm like, that was awesome. But most of it, I'm like, this is cool, and I enjoy watching it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
one of them ones where I'm like, oh, let me pause that. I can't just be like, I'll leave that on. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, well, I'll pause that. I
Mm-mm.
want to watch that.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy it, and I'm gripped by it, but it doesn't blow me away. But at the same time, I feel like it's towing a line of like it's trying to suggest stuff and make you think and stuff, but not going too much into it. And I feel like it's doing quite a good, like it's cutting a path quite well because it's written well enough, and it's like that Disney feel of it. It's like it feels like a big budget, like continuous story. It feels like the characters when they talk, it's relevant. There's no bits where you're like, well, that cut was terrible, or that
Mm.
why would he act like this when he acted like that last time? You know, like a lot like the actors motivations seem genuine throughout it, so it's well written and well like
Yeah.
performed,
Plotted. Yeah.
plotted, yeah, and it's like I say, it's fun to watch. But
Well.
then I don't put much thought into those that like the
Nah.
idea of wokeness. My thinking is like if you said in the 1940s, like the first, like say uh, when um when Captain Kirk kissed Uhura in Star Trek, right?
Hmm.
There'll be people that are like that was disgusting, but obviously they're idiots. There's just two people kissing on that. But then like there'll also be people that like 5 years later when there's lots of people kissing on like lots of different races kissing on TV, that they'd be like, "Well, this is getting a bit much now." It was okay for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one, but that's basically what it is with wokeness. It's like we're gonna have to accept it in culture. So as long as it's done well, I don't give a shit. It's the fact that it's been done so hammy
Mm.
that people look for it now. But most of the time, like
Yeah.
even if I twinge to look at it, like if I look at it and like go ping, that kind of popped up on my radar, it doesn't really bother me anymore because I'm just like, well, that's to be expected in all things, and this isn't
Well.
doing it badly. But I don't like I didn't feel at any point that it took me out of it. Like there was no point.
No.
I
Not at
read
all.
something about that wokeness, but I was like, I didn't see it in the actual series.
No.
It
I'm
wasn't
the
until I
same,
went back
mate.
and watched it, I was like, oh, I see where they're coming from, but I don't like. I
It was.
like the way it's done.
Yeah. It was only that car moment for me that I
Yeah, the
noticed it
cover it was
specifically. But yeah,
yeah.
the
No,
banging
that's
on
the
about
one
it.
the
This.
one point I can pick out.
If they were if they were banging on about it in this episode, though, I'm just like, I really don't know what they're banging on about. Like, apart from just mentioning the word supremacist, it's like fucking, it's just
See, I
dialogue.
quite liked that conversation because
It
it
was
felt
very good.
risky.
I
It
liked
was
it.
like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
liked the fact that they had a like say
It's a
Disney
good use of
outdid
it.
themselves. They have like a TV series that's based
Let's
around like a
not
white
praise
supremacist
Disney too much.
superhero. Like they're doing something right. They're doing something different, but it's quite. I mean, it's quite interesting to
Also,
see them go into that sort of conversation in a
yeah,
quite a grown up way in this series. Yeah, found that
and
quite
this is it.
interesting.
And then you're looking at, I mean, what the hell's to come? Like bloody Loki, I don't know, something else, Black
Loki's
Widow.
next, yeah.
Yeah,
Loki's
there's all
next, and
sorts
that
of
looks
crazy shit
dope.
coming. Doctor
Yeah, yeah.
Strange. It's like, I'm sorry, when else are they going to deal with these kind of sorts of issues in any way whatsoever? They just chucked it
Mm.
in a little bit here, a little dabble here. I mean, fucking hell, it's not like Marvel's going to become like Star Trek Discovery, like I said. That's too heavy-handed.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas you just dabble it in a little bit here and there. I'm like, whatever. I can ignore it. Like you said, it's just part of society that's growing and just becoming
Yeah,
a thing that we have to just, it's like,
yeah.
you know what it feels like? It feels like I was saying, it's like special effects or something. There was a
Mhm.
period like in early movies that you really like. They had the bit janky special effects where you could see they were shit,
Alien
before.
3.
Yeah, shit like that. Yeah, and it's janky, and you're just like, whatever. You just put up with it, and you suspend your disbelief and go, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
fucking. And now it's all CGI, so special effects look amazing. But we've just got to deal with
Mhm.
things like this, like odd, weird
Yeah.
political stuff that pops up in it, and you go, well, I'll just suspend my disbelief for that, like I did with the special effects,
Mm.
and I'll just ignore it and just carry on watching the thing. It's just part of the show. Fuck it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be specific films that Disney do that definitely have a massive like wokeness to them. Whether it's Miss Marvel or whatever film they're going to do, that they'll definitely ones where they'll explore that in depth.
Oh yeah.
And but like in anything in life, there's things which are like specific to an area, and then sometimes that area goes into everything. It becomes part of daily life, which it should, and it
Mm,
should be part of the conversation. What I like is the fact they didn't have the main flag smashers as like pansexual, transgender.
yeah.
Like they didn't do that. You know what I mean? They
Didn't
didn't
push
go
it
like
too
because
far.
they are the woke. You know what I mean? They're like the kind
Yeah.
of aggressive woke or the militant woke or whatever. That's what they're portraying in this. But they didn't make it too ridiculous that you're just like, they had to be endearing enough that you had to like them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like,
Yeah.
I understand their ideas, I don't like their methods, but like, you know, if they went too far, you'd be like, just let them all die. You know, let Captain America kill those guys. I don't care. But they've made them like the way they've like kind of really shown them is, I think, quite well done, because you like, they're as much the Rebel Alliance as they are, you know, the woke masses.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They're the underdogs, and so it makes it quite.
Do you think?
I quite like it.
Do you think there's a big CGI battle or something coming at the end, like last episode or something?
There's got to be Captain
be
America against Bucky and Falcon, and probably that chick from the Flag Smashers. I'm guessing she's going to become the Flag Smasher. She'll be the only one left, because in the comic books, Flag Smasher is a single character, which obviously they made a thing. So I assume they're killing the rest of them off, and she's going to be Flag Smasher. But there was mention in this that, you know, that she could be Captain America, or she has the ideas of Captain America, and that's what kind of like Falcon, because Falcon needs to be somewhere between it and stuff. Not but just in this episode, there was mention she was like, you know, it was like maybe I can't remember what it was, but there was something that kind of like she said he needs to be someone like us, somebody that comes, you know, someone that comes from nothing, and there's somebody that's representing us, not somebody that's representing the corporations and stuff. And I think that's, you know, quite interesting. I'm really interested to see what happens in the next two episodes. It's going to be painful waiting for the last episode, you know, because next week we'll get the penultimate one, but then it's like, oh, great, we're going to have to see what happens. But I don't think, it doesn't seem that there's enough time to get everything sorted. But I mean, the episodes got progressively longer. These last two were longer than the first two. So it might be an hour long. So it's like 6 hours of pretty cool. But I would imagine there's got to be some big battle, but you'd think there has to be another villain to make a big battle.
That's what I mean. I just don't know what the big set piece would be that would make it, you know, a sort of memorable battle.
Skrull turn up.
I don't feel like they're going to go. I don't feel like they're going to go out there with it. It feels like they've reached the limit of how far they're kind of going to go with this series. You know, as in like, you know, like you said, I don't think like Guardians of the Galaxy would turn up or something weird like that. You know, that's really out of the story, sort of like you said, Skrulls.
I mean, you could
something.
have War Machine or someone like that, maybe. I mean, I would like, this series is like the TV series that picks up who's going to be the next Captain America. I'm assuming Armor Wars is the TV series that picks up who's going to be the next Iron Man. So like they're kind of parallel in a lot of ways. So it would make sense for somebody like, you know, Brody to come in and like help out.
Yeah. Is that power broker just someone who in Madripoor? Is he like, or is he like an internet? You know,
so from the comic books, there's been a few different ones, but basically he's somebody that is like world renowned as like he gives people superpowers, not just super serums, but he's like there's different versions of him. Like there's different people that have held the title, but yeah, he kind of gives people superpowers. So he's like, I don't think he's just in Madripoor. I think in this they've made him more of a local villain, but because we don't know who he is, like, it could be Big Brother, you know what I mean? That's why I'm thinking someone like General Ross, because he's like eyes in the sky, secret kind of criminal organization. We don't know what's happened in the last 5 years, so it could literally be any person that we didn't see come back.
Dr. Doom.
Could be, well, Latvia, where they currently are, is bordering on Latveria. Or whatever it is, wherever they are at the moment. It's like I saw that on someone else's review. They were saying that it's the board in Marvel Comics. It's bordering Latveria where Doom is, and obviously we've got Baron Zemo.
Well, that's what I mean.
Just needs to step across the border, and he's in Doom territory. They ain't coming anywhere.
Well, but also he's like you said, a Baron. He's, you know, high society. He's the type of person who might already know Doctor Doom. You know?
And it seems Zemo's got something else going on. You know, he seems a lot more in the know than anybody else there.
He's
really good.
What is it about his character, that actor alone? It's like, I think
he's sold it way more than he did in Winter Soldier, though. I feel like in this one, he's really selling that character. Like he's really developed it more. He's a lot more interesting.
Well, he's having more fun with it this time.
It's the jacket, mate. I'm telling you, it makes the jacket makes his character. It's perfect.
I want to chuck that mask back on and they go ham on someone again.
Yeah, I feel like at some point, and you forget that he's also a badass as well. Like like, I don't know. In the comics, he is a soldier, but is he in this? I don't know.
Yeah, well, they said he was like part of a sort of super crack, like wherever he's from, Sokovian like unit or whatever, like, and that's why he was able to put together that huge plan and all those resources and track everyone down to like cause civil war to happen, wasn't he? Because he was a complete badass, and he obviously has resources.
But yeah, it does feel like he's playing a bigger plot. But I was watching a breakdown, which was very interesting. The book he was reading in his cell was Machiavelli. But it was actually a study of Machiavelli and Da Vinci, who were friends in real life, and how Machiavelli used to manipulate people's like thinking of something in order to get what he wanted out of it, faking his own death and so on. And his kind of brain was Da Vinci, like his friend was Da Vinci, who'd give him into like advice. This is like true.
Fuck me, I can't imagine a more dangerous pair.
Right,
ever.
But like,
you know
if you think of Zemo as Machiavelli, then who's Da Vinci?
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, there's something they put in there so you think like, oh, that's, you know, I know, Da Vinci and Machiavelli. I mean, like, yeah.
That is interesting, that. And that's interesting. You did
that's
some research.
I think that was probably New Rockstars, that, mate. I think that was New Rockstars.
Someone else did the research.
That was an Eric Voss type thing. It sounds like something. So. But either way, I found it very interesting. So that's quite a clever point to put in.
There's a meme going around of like him, of Zima, you know, that last scene in the last episode where he was dancing in that club.
Oh yeah. There's like a 1 hour shot thing of that now, you know.
I know, yeah.
They released the Zemo cut, and they released like a 1 hour thing of footage of that. It's brilliant.
There's a shot in this, you know, where the Wakandans come in and start like smacking everyone's heads up, and then there's just this shot of Zemo just like backing off into like closing the doors, that'll be a meme tomorrow. I guarantee that'll be a GIF somewhere tomorrow for something. I don't know what for, but
Yeah, no, it was good. And I like Zemo. He's the real thread in this. But I do think Bucky and Sam are really I like them a lot more in this. I always found Bucky a bit off-putting in the first Avenger. I liked him as Winter Soldier, but we haven't really seen who he is as Winter Soldier. You know what I mean? We haven't seen him as the person after the Winter Soldier. I always found him kind of a bit like his character, because I don't know, his character in Captain America always felt a bit off and weird. But as the Winter Soldier, I thought he nailed it. And as this, I think he's really good. And I think him against Sam is decent. I think they're really good pair.
I think it's just one of them. Up until now, really, he's just been quite a tortured, sort of mopey character. And it's hard to sort of like people like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And at least you see through a bit of it in this, because he plays off Sam and that a bit more and stuff. Still mopey,
yeah, and you're seeing some of his backstory and stuff. It's quite interesting exploring that, because this is as much a backstory for him as anybody in it, really, as much as the Flag Smashers or whatever.
Do you reckon he banged her? Looks like he banged her, I think.
Who, the blonde girl?
No, the warrior chick from Wakanda.
Right. Maybe. I didn't think of that. Maybe.
I reckon they banged her.
Maybe.
I'd have banged her. Even bald. Yeah.
Even bald.
Even bald.
I don't think I have a choice. She's bald, so yeah.
Well, that's it. It wouldn't bother me.
You can be like, put a wig on. I'll bang you if you put a wig on. That's rude.
Just put the spear down, and then we'll bang. It's fine.
yeah. Spear. I reckon she could kill you with her hands, mate. She doesn't need a spear.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I was going to say, haven't they got vibranium armor on as well? So it's like they're basically like almost Black Panther anyway. All of them.
Yeah, they're kind of half Black Panther, half Captain America. Yeah, you ain't get half Iron Man. So yeah, you ain't get through them. Plus, they are badasses. That was awesome. They could have kicked everyone's ass in the room. I love the fact they took his arm off. That was like nice. Just used the 5-finger death punch and took his arm off.
Yeah.
That was such a bit that was like, you're my bitch. Don't even I can take it away, sort of thing. It's like, we gave you that arm, we can take it off you. Don't even start, sort of thing. And I like that. That was kind of cool, because it's like he's never a threat to Wakanda. So that was kind of cool.
It is a cool.
But yeah, I like the fact that was in it as well. Yeah, it's dope. Oh, it's wicked.
I always forget it looks different from the original one, and it just looks fucking awesome.
The style in it was more Russian looking one. Yeah, no, I do like this one.
This one's awesome.
But I reckon we're going to get Cap's new costume, because apparently there was a toy released that suggests there's new Cap. There's like a Cap costume.
For who? Who's wearing it though?
No, for like the guy that's Captain America at the moment, him
Oh, for
becoming the US
Walker.
Patriot. And I think there was another Falcon toy as well, which suggests that I think it's
Alright,
probably Captain
okay.
America Falcon, but I don't know.
Right. Well, we got
But
confirmation
yeah,
at least that Captain America, old Cap, is still alive because, like, when he was talking to a Flag Smasher girl, he was going, "I know a guy," and he was obviously talking about Cap, wasn't he?
oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah,
So he didn't say, "I knew a guy." He said, "I know a guy." So at least we
yeah.
got confirmation he's still alive somewhere. He's just not allowed to say tell anyone that
It's in
he's alive.
space. It's in space. I reckon
Well, I
it's in
imagine.
space because that guy suggested he's in space.
Well, I'm
That makes
imagining that
sense.
only Bucky and Falcon know that Cap is still alive or exists as an old man somewhere. Because I
No,
don't
see, I
imagine.
assume he's in space with Nick Fury. That's why I think we'll see him next.
Why?
I think he'll be on
Where's
the
this come
shield.
from? I don't
Just chill,
understand.
because he's really old.
Okay.
There was a reference in the first episode of like the rumors on the internet are that he's in space, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go do space stuff or whatever it was."
Whose rumor?
And
Where did this rumor come from?
do you know in the start of the first episode where he's chatting to his mate, the guy that shows him the hologram or whatever it is of the Flag Smasher symbol on the wall?
All right.
He sat there fixing his Red Ring,
Oh, does
and
he
the guy's
say?
like,
Is
"Yeah,
Captain
he's
America in
like,
space?
he's like, his Cap's still alive." He's like, "Oh, why? What do the rumors say?" It says he's on a space station, and then later on, he's like, "I've got to go." He's like, "What are you going to do?" He's like, "Space stuff," and then walks
Ah,
off.
all right.
So, but I think that's like a jokey past thing. But
Yeah,
the
I
last time we
reckon
saw Nick Fury, he was chilling out on a
on a
space
space
station.
station. Yeah.
There's going to be loads of stuff about Sword because that's what the Miss Marvel and stuff's going to be about. That's what I assume the Armor Wars will be about. You know what I mean? That sort of stuff.
Well, I'm assuming that space station is the Sword space station anyway.
Yeah, the Sword space station. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or the ship,
And
whatever it is they've got.
obviously, at the end of WandaVision, you saw Photon go up there, and she's going to be part of the Miss Marvel thing. So yeah, it stands to reason the next time we might see Cap, he's just chilling in the background in space. That's what I want to see. Because he's an old man now. Peggy's dead still, because she still died, I assume.
Yeah, and you imagine he got into retirement and went, "I am really bored."
Yeah, so he's just like but
Still a
also
super
he's like
soldier.
he doesn't know how old he's going to live to, so he doesn't want to live on Earth without Peggy. He's just going to go and retire in space.
Thing is, do you reckon he's still Cap level Cap, just as even as an old man? Because he's like, well, I'm still a super soldier. I'm just old. It's like I've still got all my abilities, but I'm just old.
Yeah, he's still got his ability. He'll be a bit slower, and he'll be a bit like he probably won't be able to work as hard. Yeah, he'll get tired.
Thing is, he doesn't get tired though, Cap though, does he? That's his thing. He never gets tired. He never loses stamina. That's his thing, isn't it? That's one of his powers, or one part of the serum, anyway.
I don't know. I don't know how he gets when he gets up. Maybe the serum starts to wear off as he gets older, and as he's he starts to age properly or something. But who knows? But either way, yeah, he's probably like 100 something years old. So if Peggy died, then he's probably just like, yeah, let's retire in space with Nick Fury, and look at space stuff.
What if Hulk turns up? What if Hulk turns up in the end of this one?
Like just live in a courthouse and Hulk just smashes through the wall.
Yeah, having like a big fight, and it's just like
it's intelligent Hulk now, though, isn't it?
That's what I mean. Like,
intelligent Hulk.
That's what I mean. Like Endgame Hulk.
But his arm's all fucked up, though, isn't he? It would be maybe he's like intelligent. Maybe he's a lawyer for whoever it is. But that's why they think there might be a female Hulk, because she is actually a lawyer in the comics.
Yeah, that's a good shout. But could you? This is what I'm saying though. Again, about the discussion in WandaVision about introducing a character. For people to flip out, it has to be a character that's identifiable by sight.
Well, what about right? What? Go on. Sorry, go on.
No, just by sight, because you can't just say this guy is Doctor Doom. Can you and then. Yeah, I suppose they can. They could say, "Let me introduce you, Victor Von Doom,"
and it'd be an actor. Yeah, it'd be an actor. You'd actor, yeah. What I'd like to see is they're in a courtroom and someone releases the super serum in a vial, and whoever the lawyer is turns into She-Hulk as her. There's some sort of gamma thing, and loads of other people start mutating, but she turns into She-Hulk.
Her name Jessica something. I can't remember She-Hulk's name.
It's Jessica something, but it's not Jessica Jones. I know that.
No,
but who knows? I mean, it could literally be anybody. It'd be interesting to see. So, like I say, I would love to see someone like Daredevil. That would make me blow my.
That is a good shout, I think.
That would be mint. Like I say, I mean, as they say, it's a courthouse. I mean, it's a museum they're filming in, but they said it was a courthouse scene. But you don't know it's a courthouse scene. It might not be. I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of trial of what the hell has Captain America just done. You know what I mean? Like, you would think it would be some sort of hearing, but I don't know. But again, this is all just internet babble.
Internet.
So.
This is what I think they do. It's just kind of hype stuff. Yeah. So maybe it's just someone starts a discussion about it on a thread, and then it starts people talking about it, and then people start making videos because they've seen the discussion, and then all of a sudden it's a theory that's going around. So I don't know.
So as a rating, I give it 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. It's a good 7 out of 10 this year.
I tend not to rate individual episodes of shows.
I'm going to. But no, the series so far, the first 5 episodes, 7 out of 10. It's got me interested, but I'm not quite there yet.
And maybe that's what you could do. Yeah, it's just kind of the whole series gets a rating, and like it's an average. So like, next episode could be terrible, and then you're like, the series is now a 5 out of 10.
So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, didn't deliver in episode 5, but yeah, I feel like it's built up quite well. It's given us a lot of information, and it's explored ideas, but it hasn't gone too much into it. It feels like it sets stuff up, but it hasn't really, like, like when he met the Black Captain America, we haven't seen him since. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's still quite cool that he's been seen. It's like that's something for the future they can develop on. So yeah, 7 out of 10 so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. There's not much else to say, really, is there? Until we go more.
Until next week, yeah, we've got two more episodes. Once we get our next episode, I'll let you know my theories on that.
It's one of them. I would really like them to drop the last 2 episodes at the same time, so you could watch it like an hour long.
Nice.
Sort of
Yeah.
or
I
2
might
hour
have
movie
to
or something.
try and hold up on it and watch it. But I know my thing. And then obviously, like, I'm guessing in the next few weeks we've got Loki coming, and the Loki trailer dropped, and there's some really cool bits in the trailer. There's some really interesting scenes in the trailer where you're like, that's going to be an interesting series. I feel like that's going to be completely different again. Like, I'm liking the fact that each of these series are different. A lot of the films are not just the same formula; they're just something a bit different. It's quite good.
Yeah. No, it's slightly different for each one, and it gives you a bit more sense. It feels like, the Marvel Universe is continuing, at least during this lull. Thank God they had these shows in the works. For some reason, they already had them in the works before. It's mad, that.
Yeah, but I do think we would have got them out sooner. We would have seen this by now. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, if anything, they've held on to them. But yeah, it's no, they're good. They're interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing if the Black Widow film kind of ties to any of these, or how that sets up, because that feels like, with it being a film, it's going to tie into, like, there'll be something specific as the end credits or whatever in that one, which is going to be like, that's really going to affect the world. Whereas these ones are like little bits about individual characters. That's going to be something a bit more overarching. You would expect, but it is a prequel, so who knows?
There's no end credits on this, though, is there? After that,
not yet.
No, not yet.
But there wasn't on WandaVision until episode 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I feel like these series will be treated like one movie each, kind of. Just and then at the end you'll get your little end credit, which will link to the next something, or a bigger picture thing in the universe, I guess. It's not like it'll link directly to Loki or anything, but it'll link for something else. Because, like I said, these are filling in the gaps between movies, aren't they? Because so we're just
that's the thing. It's like, this is giving the story between the films, so it's quite interesting, because this would be explored in maybe backstory, or maybe they'd have a film about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but just have that as a movie. But you wouldn't be able to explore these characters. Bucky would still be fairly one-dimensional, and Sam would still be like the cocky flyboy sort of thing. Zemo wouldn't have been explored. Whereas this gives them time. Like, say that scene where Zemo destroys them things, just that one scene is
100%.
30 seconds long, but that in a film wouldn't necessarily have the same impact as it has where, after he's had the conversation with Sam about, would you take it? And Sam's like, no, I wouldn't take it. Like, straight away. That sort of them dynamics, that giving it time to kind of breathe.
Yeah. Well, even all these scenes with Zemo kind of, the dancing, just kind of that supremacist speech, just some of these, you wouldn't have got those scenes in a movie, I don't think, because Zemo would be kind of, unless I don't know. It's one of them, isn't it?
It depends how they explore it. But I don't think they would have gone to Madripoor for half the film and then gone somewhere else. You know what I mean? They wouldn't have had 10 seconds and a story that developed like that. It'd have been montaged or something.
I don't think we'd have had as many scenes showcasing Zemo's raging alcoholism either. Like, kind of.
See, get the impression that Zemo is enjoying his last few days of
I
life.
know, yeah. He's like, I'm going
he
to
sees it.
drink.
It's like he's been inside prison, and he's like, even if I ever get taken back to prison, if I get killed, I'm going to dance, I'm going to drink, I'm going to eat, I'm going to chat to people. You know, he's just,
Literally.
I'm just going to do what I need to do. And that's what it seems like his motivation is. He's like, fuck it, I don't care.
Thing is, literally every time they go back to that flat, or every time they cut to him in that apartment, he's making. Well, he's either making a cocktail, making like a nice tea, or most of the time just pouring a whiskey and just sitting there drinking a whiskey. He was, even when he got battered in the side of the head, he had a thing on and he was drinking a whiskey like at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this dude is just getting tanked.
He's my favorite. Yeah, he's
brilliant.
That's why I'd really like to explore a series with him, like him 100%. And someone like Thunderbolt Ross and whoever they choose for the Thunderbolts, because none of them are specifically bad guys, but there'd be like, you know, there'd be a really interesting team to kind of explore. And if they're going to do the Secret Wars stuff, then I assume they're going to do that. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
Oh, that's cool then. Yeah, you might do. Yeah. But yeah,
we'll see. We'll find out next week on Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
It feels though they've come across another. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
And the Winter Soldier.
And the Zemo. No,
and Zemo. And the Zemo.
And just Zemo. Just Zemo. Yeah. I do feel like they've stumbled upon another Loki kind of character here with Zemo. You know, one that they can redeem in a way.
Yeah.
Sort of middle
definitely.
ground.
Like there's enough exploration in him, and there's enough like redemption in him to make an interesting series. I think
and they've
very good.
Got a really talented actor who's got lots of levels and layers to his
really good.
performance.
And he plays the character really well. Like he's instantly like, I couldn't see anyone else playing that sort of villain. One thing I will say is that as a opposition to that, the guy that played Battlestar, I had very little connection to, and when he died, I was like, "Oh, he died." I assumed he would live because in the comic books he becomes like something more. I think he gets like genetically mutated or something and becomes like the new Falcon. But yeah, he just died. So.
Didn't even know the guy's name.
It's Battlestar. I don't know his. I don't know what his name was. But I do think there was some good bits with him, and like I like the fact that he was kind of like the voice of reason for Cap. For this Cap, whereas like Cap's always the voice of reason for Sam or Falcon or whatever. He's like the calm one, whereas he was the calm one and now he died. So I was like, cool. Now we get to see the evil Cap. So yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, it's just the fact he's just got punched through a wall.
Planted into a pillar.
Why don't fuck around with like 8 super soldiers. Like I don't know what they thought would happen otherwise. That's why I was like,
that's what I find.
Makes sense.
That scene was quite funny. Yeah, they're all having this massive fight, and then all of a sudden he gets thrown against the wall, and everyone just stops. Like, oh, I didn't realize we were killing people. Like,
I didn't realize we were just fighting normal people. But that's one thing I did like about Falcon is like Falcon was the only one in the room that wasn't a super soldier. But in the fight, he used all his wings and stuff. It was like the way he did it made him look like a superhero. You know what I mean? Like he fought like at that level.
Well, that's what I like.
That dude just got punched through a wall. He's like, no, you can't do that.
He's like, bitch, I'm Falcon. I'm an Avenger. I've fought fucking Thanos.
I fought Thanos and his minions. Yeah. He fought the Avengers. I fought half the Avengers.
The other Avengers.
Yeah. Fucking took out Iron Man and shit. So yeah, it's like
no, that's what I like about it. Yeah, he holds his own against super soldiers because he's an Avenger.
Because he's a badass. And that's why it's like he doesn't need the super serum to be Captain America. He's already a superhero. He just needs to choose to be like that. He has to choose that mantle. Whereas with the Captain America that's in it, he's like he has to become better than he is. He's not as good as Falcon is without powers. You know what I mean? That like for all his bravado throughout the whole thing keeps down on Falcon. Well, Falcon just took on a super soldier and you couldn't do it. You got your ass kicked every time you've taken on anybody, including super soldier. You know what I mean? Like you literally haven't won a fight yet. So yeah, interesting.
He couldn't be in a worse spot to take that serum, could he? Like that Cap.
No, not really. No. But I mean, if you're giving it to his mate would still be alive. So it's his own fault. Got it.
No, but yeah, I am enjoying it, and they could I think it's just the woke stuff. Whatever. We'll see what happens because I doubt they're going to finish with the main story being like, oh, how woke it was. It's going to be like something cool is going to happen at the end. It's going to make people go, oh my god, fucking
I think
Wolverine.
Falcon's going to say the Captain America should be a woman, and then he's going to have a sex change. That's what I think. That's how it's going to end. It's going to be called like, I'm not Captain America. I'm like Ms. America now.
End with Falcon getting shot dead by police in like a.
Oh shit. Okay, so we'll finish at the bit where I said 7 out of 10, and we'll call it there. Okay, now I thought I went risky.
Just have another bit at the end where, like, they get back and it's right at the end, and then the police roll up and say freeze, and like, he's got a gun, he's got wings, and then they shoot him. Like,
he's got wings. Yeah, I would shoot him if he had wings. If I saw someone with wings, like shoot him. He's got wings.
They just freak out. Right. Like, a black guy with wings. We have to start shooting. It's part of police policy.
He must have stolen a white guy. He must have stolen a white guy's wingsuit.
Yeah, obvious.
This is America. God damn it. Maybe. It's a bit
too far, didn't it?
Let's say we reviewed it. We've got enough endings there to do it. We always end and then carry on talking. So
I felt we were very serious through the review.
We did really well. We did really well, and then we got to that end there, and we turned into ourselves again.
I feel like I should just break every now and again in the middle of these serious reviews and just fucking do some of that. Okay.
It's all right. We just need to keep them short. Like, I could feel us starting to get like more like, what about if this happens? I feel like when we get imaginative, it becomes less a review and more of like part of our normal conversations. But I like that. But we just need to keep it like, before we get into giddy mode and start being like, and then they have sex at the end.
Yeah. But that's the format, no. But I think that's it. We talk about what we thought of it. We talk about kind of what happened, some of the stuff that happened, and then the theories of what was going to happen. And we go off into speculation, and then we finish with something horrifically racist or whatever. I don't know. And that's the that's the natural ending.
And it cut off there. Yeah, I think what's going to happen at the end is, and then it cuts off, and you're like, and that's where we got racist. So
that's a running thing. That's why we end the podcast mid-sentence every time. It'd be like, and we said something really offensive after that, and it never went back to normal. So we just, I just had to end it.
Carried on. So that's where it's cut.
Well, thank you for listening. I was Dan from Word of the Horde. He's been Chris, and that was an extract from that famous podcast. Hey, I just managed to say it without saying the word podcast twice or the word that twice. Anyway, that's what we think of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Zemo. Episode 1 to 4. We will return with a full season review once the final 2 episodes have been released and everyone knows the score, knows what racism is all about, because it's going to deal with it. This is going to solve racism, this series. Prepare yourselves. Also, thanks for listening. It's been a pleasure. Been a pleasure to have you listen to what we think about The Falcon and the Winter Soldier on that famous podcast extract on the YouTube channel on the internet. Thank you.